Hey everyone. Okay, today's video will be about dividing decimals. Make sure you write down everything that you see and everything that I write down. Your objective for today: I will be able to divide positive and negative decimals fluently. Now remember, anytime we are multiplying or dividing with positive and negative numbers, we use Mike Dude. So we will be using Mike Dude today to determine the signs of our answers. Now, whenever we are dividing and there are decimals involved, there are a few rules that we need to be reminded of. If we have a decimal divided by a whole number, such as 1.2 divided by 4, we simply pop up the decimal. So right here, we have a decimal. We just pop it up to the top and then divide like normal. If we have a decimal divided by a decimal, okay, the number on the outside doesn't need to look like a decimal. We want to make it look like a whole number. So if we had 1.2 divided by 0.4, we're going to take that decimal and then we're going to move it right one place, and that makes it look like a whole number. Now on the inside, we do the same thing. We take the decimal, we move it right one place, and then we just pop it up in its new location. So let's do some examples together. Okay, example 1, we have negative 0.48 divided by 2. So I'm going to set this up like a normal division problem, and I'm not going to put the negative signs. We're going to do that at the end. We're not going to worry about the signs yet. So I'm going to put top dog in the house, 0.48 divided by 2. Now I have a decimal divided by a whole number, so I simply pop up the decimal and then divide like normal. 2 cannot go into 0, so I put a 0. 2 can go into 4 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4, and that is a difference of 0. Bring down the 8, and 2 goes into 8 4 times, and that comes out evenly with the remainder of 0. And we have no numbers left to bring down, so we are done dividing. So our answer is 0.24, but I need to check Mike Dude and determine the sign of the answer. So we have a negative divided by a positive, and if we cover that up, we're left with a negative. So this would be negative 0.24. All right, example 2. We have 5.2 divided by a negative 0.16. So again, I'm going to set this up. 5.2 divided by 0.16. I'm not going to worry about my sign yet. I'm going to wait until I get my answer. So we have a decimal divided by a decimal. Since this number needs to look like a whole number, I've got to move the decimal to the right, and I would move it 2 places. I have to repeat the same thing on the inside. Move the decimal 2 places. Now, I have this empty space, so I'm just going to put a 0 and pop the decimal up in the new place. Now, if you're wondering how we are moving the decimal, how many places, you're just going underneath each number. So here, we go under one number and then under a second. So that's like 2 hops. Same thing here. Under one number, under the second. So that's how we always move. All right, now that we have the decimal moved and popped up, we can just divide like normal. So we can treat this as just 16, and this is like 520. So 16 cannot go into 5, so I put a 0. 16 can go into 52 3 times, and I'm going to work that out over here on the side. 16 times 3, 6 times 3 is 18, carry the 1. 1 times 3 is 3, plus 1 is 4. So 16 times 3 is 48, so I'm going to subtract that. 12 minus 8 is 4, and 4 minus 4 is 0. Now I bring down the 0. 16 can go into 40 2 times. And 16 times 2, that would be 6 times 2, which is 12. Carry the 1. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So that would be 32. And 40 minus 32 is 8. Now, we don't have any numbers to bring down, but we're not done dividing because we do have a remainder, and we want to keep going until we're finished. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add on a 0 and bring that down. Now 16 can go into 80 5 times, And let's work out 16 times 5. 6 times 5 is 30, carry the 3. 1 times 5 is 5, plus 3 is 8. So it goes into 80 5 times evenly. And sorry, that's a little smushed at the bottom. And we get a remainder of 0. So that means our answer is 32.5. But I have to check Mike Dude for the answer. So I have a positive divided by a negative, so our answer should be negative. Negative 32.5. All right, example 3, we have negative 0.12 divided by negative 2.4. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up. Top dog in the house, and I'll worry about the sign of my answer at the end. I have a decimal on the outside, so I need to move it and make it look like a whole number. So I move it once to the right, outside, move it once to the right, inside, and pop it up in its new location. Alright, so now we're treating this as 24. 24 cannot go into 0. 24 cannot go into 1. But now we have 24 into 12. 24 cannot go into 12 either, so I'm going to put a 0. Now, here's the thing. We have no numbers left, but obviously we're not done dividing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a 0. Now, I want to see how many times could 24 go into, and we'll treat this as 120. Well, that would be 5 times. And if we multiply that out, 4 times 5 is 20. 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 2 is 12, 120. So it goes in there 5 even times. We get a remainder of 0. So our answer, even though we have 2 zeros here, we only need to worry about this one. So it's 0.05. Now we're going to check Mike Dude. We have a negative divided by a negative, so the answer is positive. 0.05. Okay, now it is time for you to try and do this problem on your own. Make sure you show all your work, and don't forget word problems should be answered in a complete sentence. We'll see you next class day.